Subtopic 4. Components of a winning proposal. We are now going to talk about writing a winning proposal for funding. By the end of our discussion, I expect that you will 1. Mention the key parts of a proposal, and 2. Develop a good proposal for funding. Now, what is a grant proposal? A grant proposal is a document that is presented to the organization with the intention of securing funds. This document should be well structured to meet the requirement of the donor. So, before writing a proposal, you need to identify the problem and come up with a way of solving it. Components of a winning proposal. There is no specific format for a proposal, but a standard proposal is composed of abstract or executive summary. Section 1 that is composed of introduction, background of the problem, statement of the problem, purpose of the project or general objective, specific objectives, importance or justification or rationale of the project, scope of the project, and definition of terms. Section 2 that has literature review. Section 3 that has implementation methodology, project design, target populations and identification design, population, selection design, monitoring and evaluation, assessment data collection methods, project implementation procedures, data analysis methods, and finally, dissemination and scale-up opportunities. We are now going to look for details of each part. We're beginning with the executive summary. We can say an executive summary or abstract is a section that comes first but is written last. This gives a summary of key issues in the proposal. This part can capture the following subsections: background of the problem, purpose of the project, project design. Section 1. In this section, we shall start by looking at the introduction. You introduce the problem that you want to address and the purpose of the project. This part captures the following areas: background of the problem, statement of the problem, purpose of the project, mission, justification, scope of the project, definition of terms. The second part is a background of the problem. Here, you define the context of the project and surrounding issues, providing a brief discussion of policy approaches and findings reported in earlier related issues. Then, the statement of the problem, in which you will describe the need for the project, the problem that exists, and how to solve it. In purpose of the project, you addressed the major objective of the project. The statement will emphasize practical outcomes of the project. For specific objectives, you will be talking about specific activities. They should be between 3 to 5. In rationale of the project, you will describe the benefits that will accrue from the project. About the scope of the project, you will address the limitations of the project in terms of geographical coverage and population. Definition of terms provides the meaning of terminologies and concepts in the context of the project. Literature review. This presents the literature that is related to the problem. You state what others said about the problem and the approaches they used to deal with it. You will structure this in line with specific objectives. The data used should be current, that is up to 5 years, to avoid duplication in the implementation. The literature review should be from authoritative, recent, and original sources, for example, practitioner reports, current plans, journals, books, and thesis. This section has the following subsection: introduction, subsections as per the specific objectives, and summary. The implementation methodology. Here, you will describe the methods and procedures that will be used in the implementation of the project. Project design. Here, you will define and justify specific project design or strategy to be used in implementation. Target populations. You will be required to state the entire group to benefit from the project. In selection design, you describe potential beneficiaries, selection technique, and actual size of beneficiaries. Selection technique are probability and non-probability. Probability is where use simple random selection, systematic selection, stratified random selection, and cluster selection. Non-probability techniques has the convenience and purposive selection. Monitoring and evaluation. This has the assessment of data collection methods and instruments. You will state the methods that you will use in that collection. The methods are interviews, questionnaires, and observation. Project implementation procedures. Here, you will give a description of the steps that you will take in the implementation of the project. These are activities, timing, sequence of activities, responsible implementers, assessment process, reporting, and recommendations. Data analysis methods. You will identify and describe appropriate data analysis methods. Dissemination and scale-up opportunities. Here, you will show how lessons learned will be shared and how chances of scaling up for larger and wider impacts. Areas for dissemination will include manuals, policy briefs, media, practitioner, and sponsors. Budget. In this, you will show the activities and cost it is to attract.